Hi guys, this is Lada from astrolada.com with your April 2019 video horoscopes for each of the 12 signs. And April is going to be an extremely dynamic month. Guys, till the 20th of April we have absolutely no fixed signs. Planets are, in changeable, mutable signs, so there'll be a lot of fluidity, a lot of changes that are happening, but we have a powerful alignment that happens so rarely. That's happening in April. We're going to have four planets in their own sign or sign of exaltation. It will be powerful manifesting time, but with a lot of changes. So it's not going to be fixed, it's not going to be fluid, but some tremendous amazing results can happen. So I'm going to lead you sign by sign through each one of those influences. For each sign, I just wanted to let you know that we're starting a predictive course with Victor. Victor is an astrologer everyone probably knows already from the channel. He had the best-selling course ever. I mean, we saw like 300 places, and about 100 people came and said we want him to teach predictive techniques, everything he knows, because he has like a 90% predictive success, which is so rare. I mean, anything above 50 is amazing. So he decided that he's going to teach all his techniques, which are based on classical astrology, classical predictive techniques used by the ancient people, and he's going to do it in 10 weeks module, and it's going to be 40% off if you get your seat till the 17th of April. So it's only $300, otherwise it's around $500. So yes, like a course for the summer and the spring, guys. Really, I'm very excited about it, to learn about that as well. And we're also, don't forget to check our written horoscopes for April 2019, which is just $7.99, and it's 300 pages. It's like a textbook. I've done it with my teacher, all the aspects, transits. So after that, you can just use it even to learn astrology through it, because there's an explanation of all the possible combinations, what it means, so you can keep that as our astrology book of 300 pages with different meanings of planets and degrees. So that's an amazing piece of love, work of love and effort. So check this out. So, all right, so let's start with the signs. So Cancer, let's see. How is April for you? Such a dynamic month. Let's start with the more difficult things, and then we'll move to the easier, positive ones that are more specific for the month. But this one in particular, I bet many Cancers will be interested to know about, is the conjunction of Saturn, the South Node, and Pluto in your seventh house, which basically happens towards the end of April. It hasn't happened for a few hundred years. So that's like a cleansing of relationship issues on a universal level for all Cancers. And for all Cancer souls, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, uh, currently present and living, there'll be like almost like a karmic release of an unprecedented portion. And why am I talking that? Why am I sounding so pompous? So the skies are falling. They're not falling. It's something amazing that can happen for many of you. The South Node rules past lifetimes. Pluto rules complexes and pains and traumas built up over many past lifetimes as well. It's not something that is just you were hurt by this lifetime. It's many. They're the most deeply ingrained to the bones of our cells and marrow, to the marrow of our bones, and in between the atomic space of ourselves. It's ingrained so deeply. And they're connected in your case with relationships of some sort. And every level, every person, Cancer, has a different level of pain. Some might have been cheated in a past lifetime, another might have been murdered 10 times by their every time they got married in past lifetimes. In this lifetime, it might have, in this lifetime, someone might have just had some power struggle with a partner. So the level of pain ingrained in us in regards to relationship and in you particular Cancers, for everyone is very different. But you have a chance to release it, and you have a chance to transmute it, because Pluto, yes, it keeps that the memory on a subconscious level of all the traumas, but it's also the planet of transformation, psychological intervention, and the universe can do it. It's gonna do it in some kind of subconscious level for you, or through a trigger experience in the outside world. But something's gonna release a lot of that pain, because and transmute it, to something higher, because the South Node is there. All that pain built up from past lifetimes is coming to the surface now. All that karma in relationships, Saturn is the karma, is also getting activated by the South Node, past lifetimes. So fears that you've built from being hurt, either from past lifetimes, if you don't believe in past lifetimes, earlier experiences in your life, your mom hit your dad hit your mom, or the other way around. So you kind of built up an idea that marriages are full of pain and abuse. So you live with that image and you keep attracting that. Or your father left your mom, so now you leave all your partners because you don't want to be left first. Whatever it is. Everyone has some scarring, some issue in regards to relationships. These are the biggest lessons we have. And it seems Cancers are in for the biggest release of all the signs, together with Capricorn, of course. And so it's a cosmic opening, as they call it. I hate this expression, but it is. It's like alignment of energies. And if you tap into that, or if you're ready, it's just like, it's like taking off. It's like when the soul dies. And that's a horrible example to give you, but it's like when the soul dies and the person comes back in the body and they say, oh my God, I didn't want to come back. I just let go of this really heavy body and I was free. I was myself. It was different state of consciousness, absolute happiness. So you have an opportunity not to die, but to symbolically die in regards to your relationships. And some of your relationships might die and might have to be sacrificed in the next 2 months. This process will continue to the end of the year and the start of next, when Jupiter, when this Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn will kind of do their thing as well. But this process has started gradually already, but now it's going to be a big peak in March and April, guys. April and May, sorry. Of release. Maybe you start remembering past relationships. Maybe you start thinking about them. Maybe past relationship from the past will come back. Maybe you see the results of your actions, the karmic results of your actions in regards to relationships. But something is enough is enough. You've reached a peak. And the South Node starts excreting now. There was so much built up now of relationship pain or whatever. Now it's the cleansing period. So whether you're ready or no, it will start, the butt is unplugged and all the muck and all the dirt gathered through hundreds of years of relationships. So if you believe just in this lifetime, in your love, in your relationships with people, whether it's business partners, whether it's marriage partners, whether it's boyfriends, girlfriends, or one-to-one relationships with others, this build-up of a toxicity and this attachment to certain ways of doing relationships that you've been doing over and over the same way. Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn means to do something over and over. Capricorn and Saturn is out of fears. We're holding on to doing that. We have fears there. Maybe constant repeat patterns in our relationships have been happening for a year or two or whole life. You're wondering, what is that? Well, now you can release it. So I'd advise you, if you have a consultant, not astrologer, maybe more someone like a shaman, someone like a good psychologist who can do some past life regression, or who can do some releasing, or a guided meditation. I'm going to organize with someone who is great at guiding meditations on the conjunction of Saturn and the South Node, this release. And I'm going to do it for the 12 signs. And what it means, I will lead you through a meditation. And you can jump on any of those, but to whatever you need to release it, because then you're allowed on a new level. So what can happen, though, is that you might let go of a relationship. Like a marriage you've been hanging on for a long time, thinking that you can't survive without them. Now it gets destroyed and you let it go, and your fears, you come no longer. Your fears, they've been too much. You cannot continue living with that. It's like a breaking point. So, and it can make a relationship as well, because you let go of a certain way of doing that relationship, because you let go of a certain fearful approach to that relationship. It can totally allow you to recreate that relationship in powerful and healthy and new ways. But you're releasing some approach to relationship which used to be useful for you, maybe for many lifetimes, maybe for this lifetime, because you were protecting yourself from the pain. But now it's no longer there. It's time to allow the sunshine there. So there might be a loss in relationship. It might be a loss in business clients. You might think, oh, if I lose that business client, that's it. My business is all going down. Or and you're afraid, and you're doing things out of fear. Something will escalate. Releasing a relationship, of a business partnership, of a collaboration with someone can happen on the outside of a certain aspect of that relationship. I think it will be bigger than just that. And what happens though is that when you release that, because Rahu is always opposite Ketu, the south node is always opposite the north node. The north node is the point of where the dragon head eats and receives a lot from the universe. So the moment you do this release through the relationships, you can do even symbolic one, burn pictures of old husbands, girlfriends, people that have hurt you, write on a list wrong beliefs about relationships that you have. For example, wrong beliefs that men always cheat, or that love disappears after 3 years and after that is just a friendship. Write those wrong beliefs, burn them symbolically, do something, sacrifice them, let them go. Or you might have to do it in real life, that you have to sacrifice a certain partnership or relationship in order for you to start thriving, because the north node, where the abundance can come through, is in the first house. It's in you, so it wants to take you on the next level of manifestation for your whole life. But the clearing of the space has to happen through the relationships, and you can't wait anymore, guys. You can't just postpone. There is the final push. Some of you already are feeling it, because Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node have been together in March as well. They've been getting closer together from the start of the year, but it's not sustainable anymore. If you resist it, it will happen through crisis, that you have to release something from the past, and type of doing relationships and partnerships, or idea about that. And when this breakthrough happens, abundance and opportunities come to you personally. You become like, there is this, the dragon's tail opens and releases, excrete that pain from relationships. So you turn into a different person, because the dragon's mouth then opens and starts taking new opportunities from around the world, and you start growing yourself as a person. It doesn't mean a good relationship will not come for you. Don't worry, next year, already from the end of this, Jupiter enters the 7th house. But first there is this big release, this big purging that has to happen. And then it's almost like the doors open for something much healthier. All right, you also have to, that's very psychological, deep, but there are some other things that are happening. Jupiter is turning retrograde in your 6th house. For some of you, it might mean that over the next 6 months, starting from the 11th of April, there might be an opportunity for an old work or project to come back to you, to work it, to improve it, to make it better, to fix something. You might be working behind the scenes on something, having to put 3 times more efforts, but when you release it, eventually the results will be 3 times better and lasting. Jupiter in Sagittarius, it can mean that you're trying to expand your work, but when it turns retrograde, you have to do now the hard work. So it might slow down a little bit the expansion of your work or business or whatever it is. But it's because you're fine-tuning the details, and it's because you're trying to gain a deeper understanding of how the most effective processes will be, because 6th house is very much house of process, using things intelligently and most effectively, and Jupiter gives you knowledge about that. Jupiter also retrograde can help you integrate and study and learn now about improving your health in some way, and maybe start doing the hard work of integrating some new health. And because it's retrograde, people say, oh, nothing new can be done. No. If you've thought about that already, if you thought like for some time, I have to change something about my health, I have to expand my understanding of medicine or herb, I have to expand my workout routine. You've thought about already that. Now, come Jupiter retrogrades, it gives you a chance to do that. It comes back to you. Or maybe a job that you applied for can come back to you. Maybe a job you've been working on can come back to be expanded on, improved upon, or maybe an employee that you wanted to work with can come back to you, or someone that you've employed before can come back to you, or an old job can come back to you. All right. And on another level is that Venus and Mercury till the 20th of April, so that's a short, fast influence. Venus and Mercury are in your 9th house, so that's a great time if you want to travel to foreign countries, guys. It's a great time for pleasure. It's a great time for taking a course, for studying something, crash courses or a few weeks courses on ninth house. So it reminds me, if you want to join us with me and Victor on a 10-week course on predictive techniques, and you're going to get a diploma on how to predict. And Victor is the main teacher, but he uses classical techniques, which are the most amazing I've seen so far. They give like 80 to 90% correctness in predictions. So I'm very excited to learn them. But anything to do with studying, and you can do a payment plan, I forgot to say. So it's 40% off till the 17th of April if you want to become a certified predictive astrologer using ancient but very simple techniques. That's why the course is called Classical Predictive Techniques Made Simple and Easy. All right, so studying, travels, higher education, things can go really well there. You can get a lot of joy and pleasure till around the 20th of April from such kind of activities. Even you can meet someone abroad, or if you're traveling, you can have good exchanges and about intellectual topics, about high-minded topics, courses, classes, webinars, and the sun is exalted in your 10th house till the 20th of April. Great time for career. An exalted sun is so proactive, is so dynamic. You can have like much more impact as an authority figure around you, make some new beginnings. Now the sun allows you new beginnings, especially after the new moon in Aries in your 10th house, to renew somehow your career. That comes especially from, I would say from the 7th of April onwards, when the moon is in Taurus already, new beginnings in your career, start a new business. Fantastic day, 7th, 8th. After that, the 12th, I think it was when the moon is in your sign in Cancer. Yes, I would use the 12th and the 13th of April after that, and it's growing for any new beginnings if you want. And we have the moon in its own sign, or the moon exalted on the 7th and 8th when I said. Then the sun is exalted, then Venus is exalted, then Saturn is in its own sign, and Jupiter is in its own sign. This is such a rare influence. 5 planets in their own signs or exalted. The ancient text said if a person has 4 or more planets in their own signs and exaltations, they're special. They become like a king. They're exalted, very highly dignified. So the same is true if you start something, like give birth to something, some event or project during so many exalted planets, you can't go wrong. So you'll give the best with that project, basically. So yes, especially on those days I told you, after the new moon, things for your career as well, to put you in the public eye, it's great for that. You can have a bit more expenditures though. Mars is in the 12th house. Maybe you travel, or maybe for expenses connected to, Mars rules the 5th house for love, entertainment, and such things. Mars also rules various areas. For career, you might spend something in regards to your career, but that's okay. All right, so thank you so much. And yes, check out my April written horoscopes. 300 pages is like a textbook. It not only gives you the answer for everything day by day for the month ahead, but after that you can use it to do readings for people, or to learn astrology, because there is an explanation. What does the sun in Aries mean? What does Venus in Pisces mean? Like a few pages for each. What does, and you can see someone who has Venus in Pisces will do exactly and behave like for the description I said there. Even though it's for the month, you can use it for many months, for life after that. Keep it like a book for you. So thank you so much. I love you, Cancers. All my besties are Cancers. Kisses. Bye.